Hi everybody, very welcome to Mentor and the Airline Pilot Club. I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. Now, you guys might have noticed that the thumbnail was slightly differently themed on this video, and that's because I'm now starting to produce specific videos that are aimed for the followers of the Airline Pilot Club. That's you, the person who maybe are interested in becoming a pilot, maybe you're looking for a flight school, maybe you're already in training and you need some help and information there, or you finished your training and you're looking for that first elusive airline job. These videos are going to be for you. We are going to try our damnedest to find you good, pertinent and accurate information to achieve the kind of excellence that you should be expecting. In today's video, I'll be talking about the challenging times that we're facing right now together with my colleague and co-founder, Mr. Andy O'Shea. Now, Andy O'Shea is a hugely influential person within the airline business. He has been working 40 years as an airline pilot. 18 of those years he was the head of training of Ryanair, one of the biggest airlines in the world. And during his tenure, he brought the airline from about 25 aircraft, which there was when he started, up to the 450 aircraft behemoth it is today. Under his direct tutelage, more than 10,000 cadets got their wings and went from 250 hours straight out of flight school and into the right seat of an airliner. So without further ado, let's get over to Andy, shall we? Great to have you here on the channel. How are you feeling?
Great. I mean, look, everybody's trying to figure out what this brave new world of ours actually means to them. But I think, doing well under the circumstances here in Dublin. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, no, the same here. I'm locked down as we are here in Spain at the moment. So with this video, I just wanted to, I want us to make it a little bit clear what the Airline Pilot Club is trying to do in this very, very hard times that we're facing right now. Now, obviously, we are still working on all of the things that we've set out to do in our newsletters. We're still working on the funding solution, on the indicative assessment, on the insurance policies, and all of that is ongoing. But how do you see our role now for the next couple of months or so?
Yeah, well, I think, we've looked at each other and we've kind of decided that you and I are people with pretty unique sets of assets and resources, and we've decided to try and mobilize them in circumstances which are evolving so quickly that people find it very, very hard to get a handle on. And obviously our plan was to launch the website and the Airline Pilot Club in much happier times and much more predictable times. But, we are what we are, and we're used to dealing with situations as they arise. So we're now trying to do something. We are going to launch a portion of the website, if you like, an aspect of the website much earlier than we planned, but it's a single purpose vehicle, if you like. It's just going to do really one thing, and that is to try and create a place where people can go to and either deposit information or get information. And I remember when I was thinking about this with you earlier on today, the thing that struck me was how similar it is to how an operator is required to have an emergency response plan, an ERP. And one of the key things in that is about information. You get information in and you get information out. So we're hoping to provide that kind of service to people in the training industry, the pilot training industry. Now, I think one of the things we really have to make clear, Peter, is that we're just two guys trying to do our best in difficult circumstances. We're not setting ourselves up as gurus. You have your fantastic reach out to your YouTube audience and your followers. Thanks to the experience that I have in the industry, I've got a lot of contacts, bit of experience, and we're going to try and gel them to give people a source of information that is accurate and reliable in these times. Yeah. Look, the point is, it's about getting information in. So if we don't get the information in, we're going to dry up. We've got a lot of things that we've been thinking about and talking to people, but we really want people to contribute. And in our website, in this kind of temporary or specific space, we're going to have two opportunities for people and entities to provide us with information, right? So when they land on the page, they'll see a little bit of an intro and they'll see an area where individuals, students, current pilots mums and pops can leave their queries, their worries, and we will collate them, we look at them, we kind of triage them, we come up with answers. But we also will have a place where ATOs can leave information. So if they want to provide updates or give information as to what they're doing, how they're approaching maybe continuity training or something like that, we'd love to see the ATOs buy into this as well.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I feel that's very, very important point. So guys, you who are looking at this now, you might be people who are interested in becoming pilots, as in on your way into training. You might be in the middle of your training, or you might have just finished your training and you're out there looking for your first interviews. And we want to really, really help at this point. Like, we understand that finding information in times like this and finding reliable information can be really hard. So I think what both me and Andy want to try to achieve here is to give that to you. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll be able to give all of that information, but whatever we can kind of levy our contacts and our networks to help you, that's what we're going to try to do, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Like, I mean, in preparation for this quick video, which is trying to get things going, you know, as you well know, we've talked to some of the biggest ATOs in the world. We've talked to medium-sized ATOs, small ATOs. We've talked to service providers or commercial entities who are out there in the marketplace normally. And we've also talked to EASA. I'll come back to the EASA in a second. But what I'm really, I'm nearly going to say enjoying, but what's gratifying at the moment is how people across the industry are responding to this in such a positive way. Like I know one ATO, a big one, is providing really great support for their students. They're providing with a daily allowance, they're providing with free accommodation, they're providing with a one-on-one kind of repatriation, get the kid home service safely, with the emphasis on safely under the circumstances. So, you know, there's a lot of responsibility been taken by people who have, you know, a responsibility to be responsible.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see that people are actually shouldering that burden now. We're talking about, and to people, entities who are actively discussing how they can put the material up online or put together systems or procedures that would be free to use, and that will provide some sort of a continuity training opportunity. Because, like, as you and I know, Peter, well from our experience in the pilot training process, you know, if you stop training or learning for a couple of days, you're behind the curve. If that's a week or 2 weeks, you're struggling to get back to where you were. But my God, if it's like 2-3 months and you haven't had some sort of a structured training process, no matter how diligent you are, it's really hard to keep that learning curve going in the right direction. So you and I are looking at, and we're happy to say that other people are looking at ways to provide that sort of continuity service. And I think we'll have more about that in an upcoming video, eh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, if you are watching this now as a ATO, that's a training organization owner, leader, and you feel like there's a message here that you want to get out to a large audience, we're talking tens of thousands of people all over the globe, well, in that case, do get into contact with us. And we're going to have an area for that, like you mentioned before, on the airlinepilotclub.com as well, when we open this up. Now, it's going to be opened up, I think, towards the end of this week. So if you're watching this, it might or might not be open yet, but do get in and check it. And if you have an idea of how to help people, or you feel like there's a way that...
Absolutely, Peter. And like, I think the beauty of the fact we're working together is with your reach, like, the message is going to get out there through your various social media channels. So there'll be ample opportunity for all sorts of players and people, individuals in the training system to learn and to contribute to this effort. Well, I mentioned the EASA conversation I had today. I think that could be quite interesting to people, you know. One of the things I think I mentioned in the intro there is I'm chairman of a group called the Aircrew Training Policy Group, the ATPG, and you know, it's a voluntary group of 12 individuals from different cross section of the training industry, and you know, we're lucky to have very good access to EASA. And by the way, I can tell you that the guys in EASA and the girls in EASA are working like little elves right now to to try and get ahead of the difficulties that the industry is facing. I was talking to EASA today, and sure enough, they are working really hard to get some solutions in place. And by the way, I'm really delighted to say that they're embracing this idea that we have, Peter. So I think they like the fact that there is a place where people can deposit their questions so that they can learn what's concerning people, what are the issues, and then maybe through us feed out some information. Obviously, they have their own fantastic website, publication system, etc. But this is the modern medium, and we're trying to help in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I was talking to them, basically, they've got a structured kind of phased approach in mind to how they're going to deal with it. Anybody who's in the UK today and yesterday might have seen a document that the UK CAA released, and that was basically a presage, if you like, or a preview of what EASA are going to provide for operators and for NAAs, National Aviation Authorities. So basically, they're providing a template for operators and National Aviation Authorities to apply for exemptions, and kind of creating boundaries and guidelines for that phase one of the exemption process that they're going to go through. So I think, from talking to our friends in the airline industry, everybody would be very welcome to hear that. And the details will come out through the normal EASA channels. And the second phase, our friends in general aviation, and of course, general aviation are as welcome as the flowers in spring in this conversation that we're having. So they'll have a guidance there in terms of exemptions and how they're going to manage that early next week is the plan. And then of real interest to the people who are listening, I think, and I hope, what they regard as or refer to as the return to service phase, and the exemptions with regard to return to service, which are going to cause enormous problems across the industry. Like when you think of pilots scattered all over Europe, in airlines that have a base network, or lots of pilots commute to a hub and they do their work from there. So getting them into the simulator, getting them in recurrent training processes is going to be a real challenge. So and then when hopefully and soon the situation gets back to normal, there's going to be a massive effort to try and get everybody back in full validity so that they can operate the aircraft. So the third kind of exemption phase that they envisage relates to airline pilots and people who are on training courses. So MPL, multi-pilot license courses, ATP, airline transport pilot courses. They will be providing very clear information about how ATOs and operators can apply to the National Aviation Authority and then to EASA for exemptions, extensions, and other mitigations and alleviations, which will help everybody under these really, really difficult circumstances. So I must say, I was really heartened when I was talking to them in Cologne. They're working very, very hard, and a lot of them, they all have obviously the industry at the industry's best interest at heart, and they're working away to make sure that we get good solutions out there. What's also interesting, Peter, and I think we talked about it, is how individual entities and companies who are equipped with online training facilities, like for instance, distance learning, e-learning has been there for years, and lots of organizations use it to great effect, and that'll have a big role to play. But there's more and more people talking about online classes, or cyber classrooms, or whatever phrase you want to use, and it seems that might be a new area where people could contribute. So people who have the expertise, who have and have very simple systems like Zoom or Skype or whatever to deliver that information, and that kind of continuity training that I was talking about earlier. There's loads of opportunities to do that, and some of them might want to progress them through the club, through the Airline Pilot Club.
Yeah, so I mean that looks like something where we definitely could come in and help, where to set up. Maybe there are training organizations out there who want to give out a course about something. It could be whatever. It could be as easy as something as CV writing, or how to behave in interviews, or it could be actual ATPL subjects, as in now we're going to talk about metrology for an hour. All of that could be done through these kind of virtual classrooms. And I mean, we are hoping to, and we're certainly working on trying to facilitate something like that through the club. Now,
and we're actually going to go ahead with that, aren't we? I mean, the plan is to try and get our English language expert providing free service to people who sign up through the club. And just, you know, because we know, you and I know how important communication is, and what a big role English language proficiency plays in the pilot proficiency of communication, and how some people from different areas in Europe or the world can struggle. So we're hoping to put up a service for nothing to get people an opportunity to talk to an English language expert, and to keep that learning curve going somehow. So there'll be details of that.
Yeah, so as you can see, guys, like the onus of this, the purpose of what we're trying to achieve here is to try to help out as much as possible. We understand the difficulty that people will be facing during the next couple of weeks and months, and we will do our best to try to alleviate whatever we can. That's pretty much what we wanted to say with this video, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you know, we should finish off with just a common sense, back to basics concept. Like, I mean, our Prime Minister yesterday said that we're at the foothills of this surge that's coming. And so, you know, I did in a LinkedIn post that I did there recently, just, you know, listen to what the authorities are saying: social distancing, hygiene, etiquette, washing hands, just those basic things can really help, as I said, our colleagues, you know, in the medical industry. And I think it's only when you hear stories and you get details of what's happening in the Italian medical system at the moment, and those really difficult situations, that it should motivate us all to just doing the basic job every day, being careful and complying with the experts that are there in the social services. So sorry if that's a bit of a lecture at the end, but I really think it's important.
No, good, but I'm hoping to get more lectures later on, Andy. Thank you very much. And I mean, you all are going to see more of mine and Andy's faces the next couple of months. So like we said, I just want to finish off with that. Now, do give us your questions, your concerns, your thoughts, so that we can feed that into maybe in videos that I can do, maybe in videos that me and Andy can do, maybe in interviews that we can do with leaders within this industry, and to source it on to EASA. Like, EASA is in a situation like now, where there's so much happening in so little time. They need whatever information they can get from you guys, the general aviation, the people in flight school, the people who are waiting for the first job. We can try to source that as much as possible, but we do need your help to give that information to us.